This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
This is Now Breakfast.
The conversation continues this morning on Now Breakfast with a look at the results of yesterday's hardship protest. The much talked about protests took place across Nigeria with varying degrees of attendance and varying results. Now, while Lagos witnessed relative calm as the first day of protests took place, it was reported as well that the southeastern part of Nigeria did not participate in the protest. However, places like Kano, Jigawa and Borno had violent incidents recorded. Now, curfews have been declared and questions over the future of the protest are being asked. We are joined this morning by political analyst Jide Ojo to speak as to what the response of the government could be, especially in areas where violence was recorded and, as we have told you this morning, 24-hour curfew declared in Borno State. Mr. Jide Ojo joins us now. Mr. Ojo, good morning and thank you for joining us on the conversation.
Good morning, it's my pleasure.
Yesterday saw an unfortunate number of events occur in various parts of the country, from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to places like Borno, where outright violence and a suspected suicide bomb attack occurred. I wonder if you can speak on the just a general overview of the hardship protests that occurred across Nigeria yesterday.
Well, I mean, there was something that happened yesterday that was not everything, or that it didn't know the likely happen. It's something that is I mean, I was saying that it's something that is not unprecedented. I mean, for those who have lived through different protests from June 12, 1993 presidential annulment protest to the recent SARS protest, Occupy Nigeria protest of 2012. And so if you have those behind you can actually forecast what happened yesterday. And it does not come to me as a surprise as a student of history that we have violence in some of the areas. And I can bet you, if this protest is not called off early enough, even other states will join. Because the issue is not even about those who organize the protest. It is about those who are going to be cashing in of the protest. And that is what you have seen in Kano, in Jigawa, where 10 cities totally erupted in violence. It is not the organizers of these protests that went on that violence. It is the miscreants, the hoodlums, the foodlums that cashed in on that protest to serve their own peculiar interests. And that is why the federal government and the state governments across the country was needed with the organizers to call off going forward. The environment is very toxic and that people are going to action on that protest. I mean, it's all comes like this at every turn when you have protracted protest. Yes.
So, Mr. Ojo, I'm specifically talking about places like Borno where a suicide bomb attack occurred. I wonder if we can talk about the preparedness of the security forces, because prior to this protest happening, we did hear, the defense headquarters talking about the fear that this would devolve into, to degenerate into anarchy. The police in Lagos State as well talked about the possibility of violence occurring. So it is not as though the security apparatus in Nigeria was unaware about the possibilities of violence. Would you say that they were adequately prepared to handle what happened yesterday?
Yes, let me be sincere with you. You cannot be adequately prepared for any violent protest. Nigeria is grossly under police. That's the point people need to understand. The entire armed forces of Nigeria are to 1 million. And we have a population size of over 200 million, conservative estimate. Some put our population at over 200 and 220 million or 206 million. We do not even know exactly how many we have. But if you put the of police to citizen ratio is one of the worst in the world. Most of the military, how many military men are even trained in IED detection? The one that happened in Lagos, ordinary policeman will not go and defuse the IED. It has to be, there is a special unit. It's not even a department. I think it's a unit in the Nigerian police, or maybe it's a full department. But you have a specialized skill to be able to defuse an IED or even detect a suicide bomber as it were. So that is why the military high rank was very, very concerned and pleading with the organizers of this protest not to go ahead with it, because they know there will always be this ripple effect, the domino effect, the fallout that you are going to be contending with. And I don't hope that this whole process can be brought under control. Because, like, if it goes beyond yesterday, if we have the organizers are talking of 10 days of protest, if it lasts longer than yesterday, the news business, you will see how other states will also end up joining the violence. It's not the organizers per se. It's not those who organize the protest, but the miscreants, the people who are going to be taking advantage and cashing in on what is going on, which is why the FCT minister, for instance, secured a court injunction to say, okay, you want to protest, we are not going to stop you, but go and use the national stadium, the Moshood Abiola Stadium, for your protest. That way, it's easier for the security agencies to provide you adequate security. And then, if any miscreants wants to go in there to foment trouble, such a person can be identified and isolated. For situations where you march on the street, definitely you are going to attract a lot of people who have sinister motives.
Right.
To
talk about those.
These will also show for the problem of the look at what happened. People are looking.
Right. Mr. Ojo. Hello, Mr. Ojo, can you hear me? It appears that our connection to Mr. Ojo is not the best at the moment. Mr. Jide Ojo is a political analyst, and he joined us on Now Breakfast this morning to speak about the nationwide protest that are tagged #EndBadGovernance. It's essentially to protest the hardship that Nigerians have been facing in the last few months. In some parts of Nigeria, it turned violent. Violence was recorded in places such as Abuja, Kano, and Borno states, where an explosive device was set off, claiming the lives of citizens as well, resulting in a 24-hour curfew imposed by the police in conjunction with the state government. We'll continue to monitor the protests across Nigeria and bring you updates as we receive them throughout the course of the day.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.